Have you ever went through that phase where you kind of make a dish and you really, really enjoy it, and then for some reason you just let it go for maybe 6 months, a year, and then you find it again and you wonder what you've been doing all this time and why you're not making this almost every day? Well, today that's me with chilaquiles, one of my all-time favorite Mexican dishes. And chilaquiles, if you don't know, is basically some fried tortilla chips in a sauce that's simmered down, and it can be typically served for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And I love it for the soggy, crispy bites of tortillas you get once that sauce kind of simmers in there and it's still kind of crunchy. It's just a really addicting texture in the mouth, and I think that's why I like it so much. There are a lot of regional variations to chilaquiles, the main variables being the type of sauce used. You can make a red sauce or a green sauce, or even in some places they do a white sauce. And then number two is how long the fried tortillas are simmered in the sauce. In some you'll see they just splash it over at the end. In some it'll simmer for maybe 10 minutes. And then in different ones, it'll be simmered all day in a casserole dish and get really nice and soggy so that sauce can fully blend in with the chips. And then the last variable is really the toppings that are used. So this can be served for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So for breakfast toppings, you'll see things like a fried egg and then Mexican crema and some cheese. But for something like lunch or dinner, where it may be served with a little bit heartier, you may see some kind of shredded chicken. So the version that we'll be making today is gonna be a Chilaquiles Rojos. So we're gonna use a red sauce. And then I like to simmer my tortillas kind of halfway. I like to be slightly soggy and crispy at the same time. Really addicting bite. And then for our toppings, I'm gonna do breakfast style. So we'll put a fried egg, get some Mexican crema, get some fresh cheese, and just some other fresh toppings on there. And it's super, super tasty. This is definitely one of the more, I'd say, mainstream variations. But if anyone knows specifically which regional variant this is closest to, would love to know down in the comments. So what I like to do is make a basic salsa that you can just store and have ready to go anytime that you want chilaquiles. So to do this, we're gonna make a salsa roja with some guajillo chilies. These are kind of sweet, not too spicy, and then also some chiles de arbol, which these are a little bit spicier. So what we gotta do is really bring all these flavors to life. And we're gonna do that by roasting our tomatoes. We're gonna roast and rehydrate the chilies, and it'll give us so much extra flavor to this salsa. And then once I make the basic salsa roja, we'll come back and discuss the 2 extra ingredients that you need to use in the sauce when you actually prepare chilaquiles. So we have our chilies rehydrating for about 5-10 minutes. We've got our tomatoes roasting for probably another 20 or 30 minutes. So now's a good time to do our tortillas. All I'm gonna do is cut these into triangles. And if you wanna save on some oil, just use a small width pan. You don't need much to fry these, maybe about an inch and a half worth of oil. And then speaking of oil, I like to use peanut oil to fry this. And then all we're gonna do is cut these and just sprinkle them with a little bit of salt, and we'll make some damn good tortilla chips. So we have that beautiful salsa, and this is actually really good. We'll give it a taste test. with one of their chips. Also, these chips are absolutely banging. You just need to make this for the chips alone. It's really good because you get that sweetness from the tomato, but then you kind of get that back of the throat spice, which personally I really like. Just that little tingle to let you know that there is some spice in there, but it's not overwhelming or overpowering at all. All right, but this is a great salsa that you can have just as a base. Like I said though, there are 2 more ingredients that I do add to this when I actually make chilaquiles, and that is some chicken stock and some epazote leaves. So epazote leaves, if you don't know, is like a Mexican tea leaf, and it's kind of got like this, I don't know, it's like a bitterish kind of taste, but it adds some nice depth to the sauce. And basically you just dunk those in and then you take them out at the end. You don't actually eat them. But now really all that's left to do is just prepare our sauce, simmer those tortilla chips down, and top everything up. I'll meet you back here when it's done. Pro tip, if you want your tortillas to be crispy, don't sit around and wait like I did to take a bunch of pictures, but regardless, let's give this thing a taste test. I've fallen in love all over again. So good. Also for toppings, I just threw some pickled onions, cilantro, Mexican crema, which is right here. You could use sour cream instead. And then I've got some queso fresco, which is like a nice Mexican crumbling cheese. And then of course we've got that nice fried egg. Let's actually toss this guy on top. Get that yolk involved. Oh baby. I don't think you can make a much better breakfast than this. Just all those fresh flavors, just unbelievable. Also, once you guys have this sauce made, and if you have tortilla chips, you can literally throw this together in like 4 or 5 minutes. All you do is heat up your sauce, stew down those chips, top it, and you're good to go. A little bit more work up front to make your own sauce, but always worth it. So let me know if you guys try this dish on Instagram. Would love to see what you're cooking up. And as always, if you found the content enjoyable and valuable, subscribe to stay updated to all my videos, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.